In all the earth, how excellent worship the Lord. Ian changed the future. Before he was cultural vulture of the moment, he was, believe it or not, making some genuinely forward-thinking plug rap. The production on his songs were kaleidoscopic, surreal, and his writing was tragic. On a song like Reminder, we have lines, I'm in hell, cannot tell what heaven is. On my personal favorite track of his, Bye Honey, he croaks, man down, pick him up, and I'm coming home mama, I didn't forget, and I'm still in search of feeling why this zip don't work for me. Zip is actually weed. I looked that up. I'm hip with the kids. And it paints such a rickety or maybe smeared self-portrait. He really could have been something. I don't know much about the genre, admittedly, but I'd reckon there's an alternate timeline where Ian is one of the faces of plug rap. He was certainly headed towards a future like that. Instead, he became a failed version of Mac Miller and Post Malone. He got a whiff of that white boy summer money and spent 2 albums making some of the most uninspired, unmemorable, impossible to pick out in a lineup of Carti clones songs of the decade. At the very least, Magic Johnson is kind of catchy. Yeah, fuck with Addison Rae. If you wonder why I chose such spooky lighting, don't worry, this isn't another super serious video. I was supposed to shoot this in the daytime. But I was playing Cyberpunk. Addison Rae changed the future. Fun fact, you might know one of my closest friends, not because of my habitual oversharing on this channel, but because she's everyone's favorite chronically online head case, Introvale. Just look at her. Isn't she adorable? She's clinically insane. She is under the impression that Ice Spice is going to have a complete rebrand and evolution and comeback. In her mind, soundtracked by Blade without auto-tune and weeping Nigerian men, Ice Spice is going to have a new team of producers, songwriters, marketers who will help turn her into a genuine artistic force instead of a sporadically trending topic on Twitter. Why does she harbor such preposterous thoughts? As I do for any remotely absurd thing happening around me, I blame TikTok. Addison Rae Easterling should by all means not be a notable name in pop music today. No disrespect. Okay, all disrespect to TikTok, but their track record when it comes to creating lasting pop stars has been thoroughly unremarkable. Dixie D'Amelio genuinely got better at the craft, but if you catch me streaming Be Happy, I've been spending too much time alone and you need to kick me out of the house immediately. And remember Lil Huddy? No? Me neither. Also, I don't know who that is. He just showed up when I typed TikTokers who became singer. By all intents and measures, Addison Rae should have gone the way of the D'Amelio. Drop a few tracks that go viral, get picked apart by the flock of buzzards cosplaying as commentary YouTubers, get a little EP going, do a tour, watch the hype die like a plant in a drawer, and then go back to selling Raycons and supplements that slowly turn you into a Republican. And it seemed like that was the career plan for Mrs. Rae. Remember Obsessed? Her 2021 single that had everyone from Matt Walsh to Anthony Fantano salivating for that sweet clout by osmosis. In reality, the song wasn't that bad. It was rough around the edges and a little too safe in some parts, but it was fine. No thriller, but no Be Happy either. She was set. And then, as is the case with all apocalypses, Charli XCX appeared. Let's not give Charli all the credit. Rae was steadily improving the quality of her music, teaming up with producers like Luka, Kloser, and Andrew Goldstein, seemingly leaving Benny Blanco and his unrelenting mediocrity behind. Charli XCX offering to do a guest verse on To Die For added an air of authenticity to what Addison Rae was doing. It made people look up, gave people on the internet the one thing they are so passionately resistant to: curiosity. She had help, of course, but she chose to be the glue. If you had gone back in time and told past Tosin that 2 of his favorite songs of the year, Headphones On and Fame Is a Gun, would be tracks by Addison Rae, he'd probably steal your time-traveling device to go right his wrongs, and then moments before jumping into your phosphorescent spiraling blue portal, stop and ask, Addison Rae? And if we are talking about songs, her debut album is a campy wonderland, one of the biggest surprises of the year for me, but for her, I imagine this has been in the works for months or maybe even years. The aforementioned Fame Is a Gun really is a juggernaut of a track. Produced by Luke Kloser, the instrumental is iridescent, her vocal delivery unabashedly impish, but it's her surprisingly vulnerable writing that sticks with me. She hisses lines like, "Fame is a gun and I point it blind. Crash and burn, girl, baby swallow it dry." And most memorably, "I got a taste of the glamorous life, Nothing makes me feel as good as being loved by you. If I was cynical, I'd say she inserted a nonsensical love song lyric into an otherwise tongue-in-cheek song because that's the meta for high-charting pop music. But I'm not cynical. I think with that line, she's talking to us. I think she's frozen, as Toni Morrison put it, in the glare of our inward eye. I hope she feels amazing now. I hope it's all she dreamed it was. Chance the Rapper changed the future. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that there's a universe out there where the big three consist of Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and Chance the Rapper. I'll be honest, he is a superior poet to J. Cole. The only thing Cole has over him is the complexity of his flows and, fatally, album consistency. Because Chancellor Bennett really did, in Eminem's words, have the world by the balls. Acid Rap and Coloring Book are now considered classics, and they were essentially back-to-back, and how could we forget, were released independently. He won more Grammys than he sold albums. He was a positive figure in a sea of tough, performatively male artists trying to sound like they'd held a gun before. I'm talking about Drake. You know I'm talking about Drake. But the big day, forgive my French, fucked him. You know the story. The album killed his hype, the way carbon monoxide kills men. One day, we looked up and we were still talking, but we weren't talking about Chance the Rapper. And that should have been it, really. Hell, I know if I faced an embarrassment like that, I know if people canceled tickets to see me, and everyone from personal blogs to Pitchfork to Sean C was dragging me, I'd have vanished into the ether like Earl Sweatshirt's dreads. Starline is one of the best rap albums to hit the mainstream this year. Mainstream-ish. I was looking forward to it, and I figured it would be good because of how hungry Chance sounded on the singles and writing exercises leading up to the album's release. There had been so much talk. With each track or phenomenal writing exercise came the same old Chance is back mantra. Chance the Rapper stans have been saying Chance the Rapper is back since he dropped The Heart on the Tongue in 2021. Side note, that song is too stunning to not be on Spotify. You're making me use YouTube Music, Mr. the Rapper. Named after Marcus Garvey's shipping line during the Back to Africa movement in the 1920s, Starline presents a different Chance the Rapper. On Coloring Book, he's buoyant. He's beating a drug addiction. He's getting his life in order. I mean, have you heard the Blessings Reprise? That man basically floated through that album. But it is different now. He's had a divorce, public humiliation. He's separated from his family and his place in hip-hop. Listen to how he says he's the boy who lived in Coloring Book.
Scars on my head, I'm the boy who lived. The boy loved.
And then listen to how he says it on Starline.
Surprise, it's the boy who lived. It's the West.
He's older, wearier, clumsy, unsure if there's still a place for him in a world thoroughly disinterested in his optimism. It doesn't matter though. The show must go on. He has a lot to say, and he'll say it or die trying. As he says on the opening track, I left breadcrumbs when I read my rhymes. So if I catch a red dot to the dome, they'll find me with a note on my head saying, you read my mind. It's a death note, he goes on to add. It's a manifesto. We don't know if Starline will be the full revival of Chance the Rapper's hype and career. So far, it isn't looking like he'll return to those ultralight beam heights. I have to ask though, who cares? The world doesn't need to tremble with each release. We need not obsess over first week sales and big threes. Chance the Rapper is back. On songs like Pretty, he's telling you stories of heartbreak. On Letters, he eviscerates the black church. The Negro Problem is a miserably poignant account of the plight of his people. I'm saying we don't all need to be talking about Chance the Rapper. Chance the Rapper is talking about Chance the Rapper. Our job is to listen. Damn, bitch. Nemesis changed the future. I'm not entirely confident I know what Verbatim, her 2024 debut, is about. Content-wise, I see it as kind of a 070 Shake meets Lord, if that makes sense. The album's production is incredibly reliant on loops and synths, or at least I think they're synths. Please remember, I have no idea what I'm talking about. And there's a heavy melancholy laced into nearly every song, but the record has no real central conceit. Misconstrued is a stunningly sung ballad about people taking and defacing her words. Fine Print is about getting fucked over by the industry and the other countless perils of rising out of anonymity. The only issue is that I'm not entirely sure of any of the shit I just said. Abstract writing is usually about using a string of striking images and stitching them into a recognizable story. Verbatim, more often than preferable, veers into the land of vague and loses its meaning along the way. Still though, I keep coming back to it. The playful, looping strings and starry-eyed chorus on Stick of Gum, the thumping drums that emerge from fog on Colored Concrete, the incredible note she hits on Misconstrued. Even the writing, despite what I said earlier, has moments like Blame the Void on Hunger, on I Borrow Happiness from Tomorrow, and My Memories Lead Me Back to Winding Rose on the opening track. Verbatim shows Nemesis to be an artist with capital V vision. I don't know why I did this. That was corny. I'd like to apologize. The album almost didn't exist. Stay with me. On October 7th, the already precarious balance the Western world found on the Israel-Palestine conflict cracked like glass, and either side plunged deeper down. A few days earlier, Nema Hassan landed in LA to sign a record deal with an undisclosed label. She was allegedly greeted with a boardroom full of men playing a Palestinian anthem at the loudest possible volume. They, quote, wanted to show her they had what it takes to represent a Palestinian artist. She cringed at their shameless pandering and signed the contract. After the 7th, Nemesis reposted pro-Palestinian posts on her social media, perhaps believing it would rock the boat less than an official statement. She was dropped from her label. No explanation was given. That should have been game over. She had a complete album at the side and no label to help her promote or release it. She saw no future in music. Good news came then, she told Some Power on Q. There was finally one distribution label that was in Toronto that was like, we're edgy, we work with a lot of edgy artists. I was like, okay, I don't really think being Palestinian is edgy, but go off, King. Let's do it. Another dead end. They dropped her too. At this point, she saw the writing on the wall and was seriously considering throwing the towel in. I know I've said this a lot throughout this video, but it's what I would have done. I've quit things for less. In September 2024, Nemesis released Verbatim independently. The album cover is her in a hijab, one that suspiciously makes her look like a nun, and a presumably white hand sticking out the side and holding her tongue. Yet, even bound, she's still talking, still crystallizing her interiority. The song with the most clarity on the album, Stick of Gum, about the industry and its tendency to act like an emotionally manipulative boyfriend, was shot in her hometown of Jericho. It's uproarious and nostalgic and somehow uplifting, and it's protest, joy, and definition of self despite the circumstances. You could plead guilty and I would do the time, she sings, knowing despite how much public flack she's given the industry, it ultimately doesn't need her. It will be perfectly fine whether she drops her music or not. She's still gonna have to climb that mountain on her own. At the end of the song, you can hear her panting in rhythm with the strings. You can imagine her on a mountain face, looking down at how high she's come. Blisters on her palm, sweat bouncing sunlight off her forehead, ever so closer to that unknowable something all artists are looking for. Elephant in the room. I'm wearing a Santa costume. Why? Well, I wore it to a Halloween party. I know, genius idea. And let's just say the ho-ho-hos were asking for my gift. I was asked to leave. And like, it's become like a part of me. I wear it just when I'm cold. It's just, I just wear it. Like, it's me. It's melted into my person. I am Nigerian Santa. I don't really give gifts. If anything, I charge for gifts. But if you can get past that, I'm basically the real deal. I imagine there are more fruitful things to be obsessed with than artists who succeed despite the odds. I keep reminding myself people's lives don't happen to teach us lessons, but my memory finds its rival in the goldfish. Living in America in the 2020s is to be constantly entrenched in a world where everything, money, PR, politics, is deemed more important than the arts. It is the time of AI, and the National Endowment of the Arts is facing grant cuts, and white women, bless their SUV driving hearts, all over the country are looking for books to ban. Everywhere I look, I'm reminded of the admittedly marginal practical uses of art, of this shit we all love but can't explain why we love. I look at these videos, the books and poetry coming to life on my laptop, and the future dims room by room like a mall at closing time. Is there a space for us in the time ahead, the way they used to be? I mean, even for Nemesis and Chance and Addison, hell, even for Ian, luck played a massive factor. We don't live in a world where artists are encouraged to evolve or change their perceived fate. Chances, no pun intended, like theirs come once in a literal million. Arthur Miller said being an artist is like holding an iron rod to the sky and waiting for lightning. But damn it, lightning never strikes twice in the same place. Sometimes I look at my words and the thought creeps up like a song you thought you forgot. Is anyone even gonna care? That's probably why I'm obsessed with stories like these. I think what I'm learning, looking at these artists, is that the future doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the present. And the present, the lovely, inexhaustible present, belongs to the past. But if you are lucky, and if you are smart, and if you are brave, then every once in a while, a flash in the pan, the lovely, inexhaustible present belongs to us as well. Keep your eyes peeled, friends. If I haven't beaten you over the head with it yet, I'm the published author of 2 young adult novels. Don't ask me how they sold, that's very offensive to me. If you'd like to support me, you can check out the books as well as my Patreon, both of which are super affordable because me and Karl Marx are just chill like that. But also, I have a new book in the works. It's called In Wonder Your People. It's a collection of short stories. If you'd like a sneak peek of one of the stories, The Laughing People is available for free on my Patreon. In Wonder Your People comes out on my birthday next year, April 25th. If you'd like to be a beta reader, you DM me on Instagram or email me or whatever.